My name is James Diley, and my rank was tech sergeant. I am not in the service at this time, as you might know. Yes, tech sergeant.
Okay. Were you drafted or did you enlist?
I'm sorry?
Were you drafted or did you enlist?
I was drafted in World War II. However, I got out of the service, and later on I went into the High Air National Guard, at which time I was sent over to Korea during the Korean conflict. And at that time I was tech sergeant, and most of my time during World War II was placed in, well, all of my time was placed in the United States. I was in a training command, and the training command, what we did was, the people who were mechanics and electricians on aircraft, we maintained aircraft like B-17s, B-24s for the flight personnel, so that they could go up and do their training upstairs, the pilots and the crews. And so we maintained those aircraft so that they could do their practicing. That was during World War II. But during the Korean conflict, I was sent overseas to the Philippines, and over there we did reconnaissance flights up and around Korea, and once again we maintained the aircraft, which we started out with prop jobs. I can't remember everything. We started out with props, but at the same time we received jets, and so we had to work both on props and jets and maintain them for these crews were not in training. These were crews that were flying up around Korea to apparently monitor what was going on.
Can you go into more detail? What was it like?
I'm sorry?
What was it like to work on the props?
I can't hear you.
What was it like to work on the airplanes? I mean,
what
just
was it like?
Yeah, like day to day kind of.
Well, it took. I was very fortunate. I was drafted. I went to Fort Thomas, Kentucky, and from Fort Thomas, Kentucky, this was January, ice and snow here in Ohio. They decided to send us down to Florida, to Miami. So I took my basic training in Miami for 1 month, and then I was sent to Amarillo, Texas, where it was cold and terrible. And there, we used long underwear. We used long underwear there and had our coats, our winter clothes. And however, there, I believe it was about 3 months in training. I had never seen tools to work on aircraft that I saw there and learned about through the training courses. But I was there about 3 months, and then I left, and I was stationed throughout the United States at airports where the service was, you know, the Air Force, and worked on B-24s, B-17s, and then at the end of World War II, I was sent to California, Victorville, at which time I was required to put to sleep B-29s coming back from the Pacific. That meant we had to go in and take out, the first thing to come out of a B-29 was the clock. Everybody wanted clocks. So as soon as a B-29 landed, somebody was ordered to go in and take the 8-day clock out because somebody would steal them, you know. So they got rid of them that way. And so we would put them to sleep. We would take the plugs out and maintain the engine, put material into the cylinders and pull them through, etc. And we put them mothballs is what we did. So that pretty much covers my type of work in the service.
What was your most memorable experience?
Meeting my wife.
Oh, can you elaborate on that?
You asked for it. No, when you say the most meaningful, there was many meaningfuls, especially getting additional stripes. And but I met my wife in Sioux City, Iowa, and I didn't know I met her there, but I did. I ended up coming back from the Philippines, not from the Philippines, after World War II. I married my wife in 1946. And of course, if I hadn't been in the service, I wouldn't know anything about Sioux City. But I really have nothing that I would say was memorable, except I can't pick one thing out because it's too hard for me to pick it out. I just couldn't do it. Except for, I say, getting additional stripes, and then I met my wife.
What do you think of honor flight?
Honor flight, that's terrific. That honor flight, I have contributed since I come back to honor flight. Financially, I have contributed some, and I'm thinking about contributing more because it's the most wonderful. How can you explain where people pay it or give attention to you, which has never been done since World War II? No one cared. No one. I mean, you're in the service, you're out of the service type thing, you know. But when honor flight come along, it was it was terrific. That's all I can say. It was terrific. I had more attention showered on me, and I have to use my guardian's name, Kay Downing. She wheeled me around in a wheelchair all the time I was in Washington, D.C., or wherever it was I was, that they pushed me in a wheelchair. And you have to appreciate those things because no one paid attention to you before. You know? So it's wonderful. And I hope they keep it up, and I'm sure they're going to because they're going to do it for Korea and Vietnam people. So that's good.